When I heard stories, kids as young as 3rd grade standing outside the school asking for money, it really broke my heart. These kids have no ability to really help themselves. It really should be the adults in their lives.
In 2016, my oldest sister, Gracie Michael, was a junior in high school at Derryfield School in Manchester. And she attended a basketball game locally and was speaking with a teacher at one of the elementary schools in Manchester.
And she told me that a bunch of semi-homeless children, meaning that they don't have a reliable place to live, but they're not necessarily on the streets, don't necessarily have food when they go home for the weekend.
Family friend who was a social worker at an elementary school. We reached out to them and Gracie asked, what is the best thing that we can do to help? And the social worker said, food.
So it started at one school with 67 kids that were identified as semi-homeless or nearing semi-homelessness by their teachers and social workers at the schools.
That year we started by going to the grocery store as a family, buying some food, and then we would just pack some bags.
I'd put them in my car, and then during my lunch break from school, I would deliver them.
And we started getting some donations as more and more schools learned about our program, and more students were part of the program.
I applied to be a nonprofit organization, so it was like my junior year of high school. Kind of word spread throughout the school district. I think we had maybe like 100 kids to start the school year that year, but we finished with like 600 by the end of the year.
So as Gracie had to leave for college, we decided that it was best if Hannah then took over. She's my second oldest sister. And then when she graduated, it passed down to my brother Joe. And now it's my turn. Fueled by Kids is a nonprofit organization that provides bags of weekend food to students in Manchester who either don't have a steady source of food on the weekend. Some of them are homeless, semi-homeless. These students are getting free and reduced lunch every week from their schools, but for the weekend there's no food source that they are guaranteed. So there's a 67-hour gap between the school lunch on Friday and the school breakfast on Monday that they receive. And so our bags are really just to keep them through the weekend and give them a steady source of food.
So that they have continuous knowledge that they're always going to have breakfast and lunch, no matter if it's a school day or not. So we do 1,067 bags a week now at 21 schools in Manchester.
Fueled by Kids is run by donations and volunteers 100%.
Manchester, it's an urban city for New Hampshire. New Hampshire is a small state. We have 13 elementary schools and middle schools and high schools.
Some areas of Manchester are gorgeous and some areas are a little more impoverished, but we have found a need for our bags at every school in Manchester.
There's a lot of families living at or below the poverty level in Manchester. There is a high percentage of students in our school district that receive free or reduced price lunch.
A lot of the stories that we heard about these students were kids trying to save food in their desks at school or in their lockers, or students who were panhandling on Friday nights, Saturday nights. I don't think it's anything that a student should have to deal with when they're going to school to focus on schoolwork, and they can't focus because they don't know what's going to happen this weekend.
When this whole idea of providing a bag of food for students to bring home, things that were kid-friendly, easy to prepare, we jumped at that opportunity.
The social workers are seeing them every day at school. Their teachers are seeing them every day at school. They know what kids need help.
Especially this year with food prices rising, we've really seen a large increase in the past year.
We've found some really unfortunate situations. We've heard of where parents were just taking food from the kids. We've heard of situations where siblings will steal the food.
I really want them to know, at the very least, that they're gonna have breakfast and lunch every day. That is one of the reasons why we give the food directly to the children.
I guess that's just our drive. Give the kids independence while still making it easy enough for them to work on their own. They don't need outside support that may, in some situations, be harmful.
Our bags are really about putting the food and the control of that food into the kids' hands. We just thought it was important that these kids have a little bit more control of their lives and they get control of this food. The food that goes into our bags is very specific, and we try to keep it the same every week.
Because we think consistency is really important, especially with younger kids, depending on what they may like. It's nice for them to just know what's coming every week.
And now I'm gonna grab the Uncrustables out of the freezer. Our social workers have told us is one of the favorites of the students. Some of the youngest people who receive our bags are 6 and 7 years old. So we wanted to make sure that the food in our bags can be prepared by the kids themselves. So this mac and cheese is very easy for students to make by themselves. It's just put water in and microwave.
There's a lot of different snacks, like there's oatmeal, granola bars, raisins, carrots, apples, like some dry snacks.
So for the privacy of each student that participates in the Fueled by Kids program, we don't know who the students are that are receiving our bags. The social workers and guidance counselors at each school take care of which students are receiving the bags.
I always want kids to feel like they're just part of their school community and no one sticks out differently in any other way.
So we start filling our bags on Monday. On Mondays afternoons, we have volunteers who put mac and cheese into all of the bags. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, me and my mom go and pick up food from different sources.
We're just trying to count it to make sure we got the right amount. Is it?
Like BJ's or Aldi. These are mostly our selections of granola bars, and then these are the bags that we pack in, just to kind of get in and order food for the next week or the next 2 weeks.
And then on Thursdays is when we actually pack the bags.
So I already put apples and carrots into my bag. Do you guys want to do like an assembly line?
So that's when all the kids come down from the middle and high school
Pretty much what we do is you grab a bag and then it is 3 apples.
and pack the bags for the whole week.
So that looks like a bunch of students from my high school, Bedford High School, or Derryfield High School. We all line up here and we have 2 tables laid out with food. And you grab a bag and it's 3 apples, 2 carrots, 2 packs of oatmeal. And then you continue to go down the line putting in granola bars and other snacks.
Everyone really knows what their role is when they come in, and they put all the food out. It's in the same order every time. And there are little cards under the food to kind of note what number of food you're supposed to grab and put in the bag.
And then we tie the bags, and then they're packed into boxes that are labeled by school and number of bags that go in each one.
And then on Friday is when my mom and her friends and our adult volunteers come and pack their cars full of the bags and deliver them off to the schools.
Stack them up right there next to the door by the window.
Okay, thank you.
And then once they arrive at the schools,
Good to see you.
the social workers, guidance counselors help us out to put them into locations where these students know where to get them.
So right here is what someone told me to just kind of spread them out.
They pick up the bag and take them home, and they have control over what they use it for. There is one story from a social worker, and she told me about a student who was in 2nd grade, and this student had been acting out. And this student was constantly looking for extra food at lunch. And she just told me he started receiving bags and the behavior got better. He started doing well in school. She just said that his face lit up with a smile when he got his bags.
They need to be coming to school ready to learn and not just coming to school because it's the only meal they get reliably. So hopefully by making sure they have breakfast and lunch every single day of the week, that can be a small weight lifted off their shoulders.
I always think about, and my siblings always think about, a week off from school is a week of not getting this provided lunch and breakfast for these students.
Fueled by Kids helped us out this summer, so our kids got weekend bags throughout the summer program.
I try to remind myself every day that what we do is helping people and that these people are depending on our bags, and so we can't just stop or not show up.
We as adults talk about these things all the time, and to have kids that really took control and took the reins and said, hey, I can do something about this. Nothing but respect and admiration.
Maybe sometimes I wish I could be doing something else. but at the same time it's not worth it to not do the bags because that just results in these students not getting food.
We were really nervous at the beginning that kids would be kind of embarrassed to get the bags, but they love it and they trade things in the bags. If one kid likes something, they'll trade it.
I think this work is so very important because it's meeting a very practical need in a very practical way.
We just finished up packing all the bags. There's a total of 1,072 bags and 88 boxes.
I just want to make sure that we can reach every single student who this would benefit for as long as we can keep doing it.